I think people love drawings. There's something about us, people just love little sketches and drawings. They're automatically attracted to it. They love seeing people draw.
Ken Crimstein is a DePaul public relations and advertising lecturer whose work has been published around the world. From the New Yorker to the Chicago Tribune, Crimstein has been drawing cartoons for decades, each with a message much deeper than what appears on the surface.
I like to write about the wars that have been eternal. Father and son, husband and wife, man and pet, weather and coat, stuff like that. And I find the humor that comes out of the human situation and the way we relate to one another much more interesting to me.
Drawing came to Crimstein at a young age, when he created scenes of army men and superheroes for his friends to enjoy. In the mid-'80s, he began working at an advertising agency in New York, but always made time to submit his cartoons to the New Yorker magazine just around the corner. At the time, the New Yorker didn't pay Crimstein for his work, but he never changed his style to reflect more popular political cartoonists.
I want things that, you can go back and look at again and again and again. I mean, I find that more delightful.
And again is what he did, with his work appearing in major publications for years until the release of his own graphic novel in 2018.
What follows is a story of a life of a person called Hannah Arendt, born into a lost world, in a lost country, in another era. A refugee philosopher, thinker whose name may sound familiar.
The opening words of The Three Escapes of Hannah Arendt, A Tyranny of Truth, describe the life of the Jewish German-American philosopher Crimstein created an entire novel about.
She was heroic, she was controversial, swimming against the tide, and I looked into her as, well, this is an interesting person who I've heard of, and I looked at a lot like that, but then when you find somebody who everything about her thinking, I feel it is so close to the way that I like to approach the world.
Born in Germany in 1906, Arendt spent her young adult life fleeing the Nazis throughout Europe before escaping to New York in 1941. Her political theories explored the societal upheaval of the time.
She had seen a democratic society kind of unravel in the face of mass media, so she made a very good analysis of how democratic values can be undermined if they're not certain things happening in the world. And some of the things that she believed in was, a free press that was very wide open, a very lively dialogue between all parties, everybody being listened to, which is hard to do. Dignity, human dignity and respect, very, very important to her, because she saw firsthand how fragile things are.
Crimstein was nominated for many awards for his novel, including Best Graphic Novel of the Year by Forbes magazine. He says his research into Arendt has influenced the way he teaches advertising at DePaul.
I find myself, saying, what would Hannah think about this? What would Hannah say about that? Because so many of her ideas, and they've gotten into my teaching, like she's very into storytelling. She thinks that storytelling, because she's about action. She's about what we do, not what we, and there has to be a relationship between what we say and what we do. So words to her have meaning.
Hannah Arendt died in her New York City apartment at the age of 69. But her philosophy of speaking words that inspire action can still be found right here at DePaul. From an inspiring teacher, Ken Crimstein. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Jakob Emerson.